Hey guys, welcome back to another episode or video, whatever you want to call it. In today's episode, what we're going to talk about is the truck charging harness for the Mulch Mate and how the Mulch Mate gets charged via the truck. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you a new one, but we're actually going to put my old used one into my new truck. So let's get this thing opened up. All right guys, so what we have here is the charging harness install kit as well as the backup camera monitor, which clips to your rear view mirror. There are instructions on how to install this guy, but this video, it's going to show you everything you need to know about how to do this with these instructions. You can might as well just watch the video. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for following along with us. It's been a lot of fun showing you all this new cool content. But we're very proud of this. We put everything in little individual baggies here. So all your wiring, your bolts, your looms, your zip ties, everything's in this little kit, okay? Now, here is the actual charging kit here, okay? So what you've got, we'll start with the easy stuff. This is your RCA wire. This is your video cable to take the signal from the back of the truck and take it to the monitor, okay? This is actually not as crazy as it seems. There's only 3 wires you run through your truck. First, you start off with the cable that connects to the battery, okay? So typically, you run the short side to the battery, long side is gonna go to this contactor. We'll get to this in a second, okay? And again, there's instructions on every little piece of this. This is called a mega fuse. So you've got a 150 amp mega fuse here with a busman protector, and then we also give you an extra mega fuse here in case this one pops, because it can happen. It's a fuse. It's meant to, protect the system. Okay? So this is the first part. We'll get to this in a second. This, I'm not gonna pull it out of the box because it's not necessary. But this is the harness that runs through the chassis of your truck. It's really nice, 2-gauge Flexiprene wire. It's all American made. Very, very nice system. We just upgraded this a couple years ago. But this is the power station. And so what you have here is, this is your port for your camera video signal. So you can see this cable here actually plugs into the back. See that? And then this guy just simply plugs into the back like so, and then this runs up inside the cab to the camera. Really nice. So the reason I'm showing you this and why this is so amazing is, say you have some kind of a failure in this plug, or this guy here fails for whatever reason, corrosion, you name it, it can happen. You don't have to replace the entire harness in your truck. You can simply just replace this little section here, and then this side is where you actually go from here to the Mulch Mate, or from here to your DMT, or your switch and go body, or your hook lift, or your roll off, whatever the case may be. When you want to disconnect the Mulch Mate from said truck, you pull the plug out, got a nice little cover, keeps it all nice and clean. This is the kind of the star of the show here, this guy right here. This is your Anderson connection to the actual Mulch Mate, okay? You've got a little red LED light right there, okay? And what that does is when you turn the key on in the truck, that will illuminate, letting you know that this mega fuse here is not blown. If that light is not out, or I'm sorry, if that light is not lit, that means this mega fuse is popped. Now we'll get some more detail on this. But what's cool is, again, just like your RCA connection, if you unplug your Anderson connector from the Mulch Mate or your DMT or your whatever you're running it on, simply pull it out. Cover goes like that, and it's nice and sealed and contained. There's not a bunch of wires, zip tie up underneath the truck and all that. Literally all you have is this unit. Now, we'll get into this in a minute in the video, but you can actually mount this upright, or you can flip it upside down. Today it's gonna be upside down because it's the style truck we're putting it on, but it doesn't matter. The decal, yeah, it'll be upside down, but it doesn't matter. So that's the star of the show. The last thing I want to show you, and we're going to show you how we're going to install all this. Again, very, very simple system, but this is your contactor for the Mulch Mate, and how it works is you have power. See if this cable is connected to the battery, all right? This side goes to the large post like so. Okay, and of course there's gonna be nuts on top of it, right? And then the other red wire, remember, don't cut the red wire. The other red wire is gonna go to the other side like so, okay? So when you turn the truck on, what it's gonna do is it's gonna send signal to one of these posts. It's gonna then allow electricity to flow through here. And this is what protects your truck. It keeps everything separated. The other post here is just simply a chassis ground. And then the other post here, the one that signal is, we're gonna take that to a switched 12-volt source. Don't worry, we're gonna show you all this here in a second. Really simplified for you, okay? So, from here, I'm gonna put all this back. We've got a used kit that we just pulled out of my old truck. and we're gonna put it into my new truck, and we're gonna run all this. We're gonna show you every single detail. Don't worry, it's very simple, it's very easy. So let's get to it. All right, so this is what the harness looks like. We just kind of stretched out to show you. So there is the power station, and as you can see, it rolls all the way down here and ends right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this sucker starting at the back of the truck, and we're gonna run it through the chassis from back here. We're gonna attach it right back there and run it through there. Now, go ahead, Gavin, you do your thing. So the reason we want the unit attached more towards the center is that when you're running, like say a trailer, and you go to make a turn, you wanna make sure that if the wire was off to the side and you made a hard, say, right-hand turn, it's gonna stretch it a lot further than it would be a left, and it can droop too far. So we keep it as close to center as humanly possible. All right, now what Gavin's doing is he's actually zip tying. Oh, he done dropped it. Man down. So he's gonna zip tie the red and the black together, and then he's gonna zip tie the RCA inside there, and he's gonna take it all the way through. Now, the reason I want to point this out to you is the reason we start in the back is there's no chance of running hot wires through the truck. It's very important that you don't do any of this with any of the batteries hooked up, of course. That's why we start back here, because it's not connected to anything. So again, the big thing is no chafing, no pinching, no rubbing, no heat, no movement. You don't want this stuff near any of that kind of stuff. Do you feel more comfortable, adding some protection to it? I've seen guys do all kinds of stuff, anywhere from putting like DEI heat shields on it. That's a racing thing. I've seen guys put loom on it. You can put all kinds of stuff on it. This is a high quality wire here, so it is got a lot of insulation on it. It's Flexiprene, it's American made. It's actually gone up 3 times the cost since we first started building Mulch Mates, which really sucks, but it is what it is. So let's get in the truck. All right, so what Gavin is doing here now is he's gonna find the best place to run this wire. And the things that we're trying to avoid is heat. We're trying to avoid any kind of like chafing, rubbing, pinching, any kind of stuff like that. So anything inside the chassis, like on the inside, on the other side of where these leaf springs are, is gonna be a lot better. Don't run it through the shackles up here, okay? Don't run it near the shocks. Don't run it near the housing. Keep it nice and tucked up inside here. So you can kind of see where he's taking it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run this up over the gas tank, and I'm gonna have to go outside the chassis and then run it all the way down that side.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. All right, now Gavin's feeding it through the chassis to me, and I am pulling it through here. And we had to come outside the chassis here because you can't get next to the fuel tank on this truck. So you can see he's fishing it there, and I'm doing it over here, pulling it through. All right, so Gavin's got the bracket in. We actually took the bracket back off to put the ground wire on the back and put a little nut action on it. Now that's secure. We're gonna go ahead and put the ground on one of the smaller posts. It really doesn't matter which one you put it on. It's gonna do the same thing. And so once we get that in place, we'll get the other wires connected. All right, so here we go. So we just ran the signal wire. That's the red one there, put a little loom on it. Zip tie, zip tie, zip tie, zip tie. And then Gavin's gonna finish zip tying that last little bit there. And again, I just wanna make sure you understand, this is very simple. This is not a very difficult thing. This red wire here is at that switch 12-volt source. So when you go and touch the start button or turn the key on, that fuse turns on flowing power to this guy here. When you turn the key off, it takes power away from this and it disconnects these two. So what happens here is this is grounded, this is power switched on, switched off, right? So when this gets power, it basically just connects these two internally in here and allows power to flow through them back to the Mulch Mate. All right, so in this section, we're going to show you all about antifuses. So tell me about these antifuses real quick.
It's very simple. You're going to be able to take one fuse out of the fuse box. Let me open it up so you get a good look at it. Depends on what type of fuse you have. We have 4 different types in here. But you find the one that looks like the fuse you're taking out. When you take the original fuse out, it's going to go into the bottom. And then you're going to take the fuse that corresponds in the bag, put it in the top. That's going to give you power to this little extension wire. So all you're doing is stealing power from a fuse that is currently in your box. And you just need to find one that only comes on when its switch is turned on.
Which we're about to show you. So what Craig is talking about is, and don't mind the cover. So you just saw us install this solenoid here. So this red wire goes all along, all the way across, all the way over here, and down into this box. Now we've already done this, but we're gonna show you how we did it. So this guy right here is that red wire. So that wire I just pointed at there is one of these in this bag here. I'm not sure if it's this one or not that we use in this truck. I don't think it's this one, but these are 4 different versions. Here, pull those out real quick. I'm gonna show you all the different versions, and you get 2 of these with each kit. One is for the solenoid and one is for the backup mirror monitor inside. So look at the differences. That's 2 there.
There's 2 there.
Different styles. And there's some different styles. So all you have to do is just take a look in your fuse box down here, and you'll be able to determine which one is which. So let me give you a little zoom in shot here. So see that big guy right there? We're not going to mess with those, but like, see how we have that added right in? Those are mini fuses, I think is what they're called. And the amperage that we're shooting for is what, 10 amp?
Yeah.
So what we're going to...
10 amp for the camera, 20 amp for the solenoid.
Okay, there you go. So how do you figure out which one to pull out down there?
And it doesn't matter what amperage that fuse is.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is called a test light. And right there, you got a little screen, okay? And that screen is gonna show you the actual voltage, and then around it, it's gonna be lit up in red or green, and that's gonna show you if it has power. So here's what's really important. This little gator bite guy here, yum, yum, yum. This is gonna connect to a ground, and you wanna make sure it's connected real good, okay? So as you can see, it's connected real good right there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test it. Now don't mind the corrosion on my battery, but watch the light. See how that just came on? That showing that we have power. So it's red and it's showing it's 12.1 volts. Now, if you don't mind, Craig, can you pull off the ground? Watch the light go out. See how the light went out? Now put it back on. That is how we know we have power. Now, if we go down in this box, I'm just gonna find a random fuse to put this into. Now, I'm on one side of that fuse. Can you see it way down in there? Now, I'm gonna go on the other side of the fuse. Notice the light did not change. Okay, it never came on. Let's find another one. No power there. No power there. All right,
gonna keep doing.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the keys. We're gonna give Craig the keys. He's gonna go turn accessory on. He's not gonna fire the engine up. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this power probe here, and we're gonna stick it down in here, and we're gonna find a switched 12-volt source. Okay, so I just checked all these fuses down here, all these guys down here, and they were all off. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check them now and see if they come on. So keep your eye up here where my finger is on this screen and see if they actually, let me see if I can actually get you a better view. That's a bit of a better view here. Okay, so nothing there. Oh, there's power. So now we found out that that 20 ampere right there, that is a switched 12-volt source. So now, Craig, go turn the truck off for me, and let's see if this light goes off. Okay, still on. It's got power on that side. And it's got power on that side. So that is not switched. Interesting. Okay. Is that off or on?
It's off.
It's off. Okay. So all these still have power even though the truck is off. That is interesting. So
It's completely normal.
so that's normal, right?
Yeah.
So tell us why that is.
Because some fuses always have power, no matter whether the truck is on or off. You don't want to use one of those. Because if you use one of those, that means that solenoid will be on even when the truck is off. You don't want that. You want to find a fuse that when the truck is off, you have no power to the fuse, but when you turn the truck on, that's when you get power. That way, that solenoid will only be running when the truck is turned on.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. See the one? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here for you. So there you go. You might be able to see it like that. So see how? Come on, zoom. There we go. Go ahead and turn the truck back on for me. And we're gonna mess with the one that we actually. Okay. So see how there's light there? There's power. See the red? Now turn it off. Boom. See how that went off like that? Now we know that we actually have power when the key is on, and then we don't have power when we turn it off. So that is how you find a switched 12-volt source. This is not very difficult, okay? You just have to simply go kind of redo what we just talked about. Put this ground on, test it. Make sure the light comes on. Then you're gonna find a fuse down in your fuse box here. You're gonna get the corresponding add a fuse. You're gonna touch it. You're gonna make sure the light comes on when the ignition's on, and then when you go and have the ignition turned off, right, you're gonna watch that light turn off. That's it. As soon as you find that, you're gonna replace the add a fuse. And again, they look like these guys in this baggie right here. So when you put them on, that first one is gonna be the original fuse that was in the truck, correct?
The lowest one.
The lowest one. Let's tell them what the lowest one is again.
You're going to take the fuse out of the fuse box, and you're going to put it in the lower one.
This guy right. So when we talk about lower, it's this guy right here. Okay, that again, that's the fuse that was in the truck originally. The fuse for the Mulch Mate side and that solenoid that is right there. This fuse here, this upper, that is the one for the Mulch Mate system. Okay, and we give you the correct fuses to put in there. Okay, this is a very simple deal. Once you have this installed, you can then, what we always do is do all the wiring without this installed, okay? And then go ahead and take this wire and you're gonna extend it with the wire that's in the kit, and it's gonna run all the way across here and over to your solenoid. Now, something I wanna point out, this solenoid does not necessarily have to be mounted right there. Sometimes they get mounted here, sometimes they get mounted up in the front. Just find a safe place where that solenoid will actually fit properly, stay semi-safe. You know, you don't want it right next to the headers of the truck or something like that. And then just simply run your mega fuse like you've already seen. There's ours right there, right? And then there is the extra fuse right there, and it just connects there, and that's where your ground goes. So that is how you properly find the switched 12-volt source and add the add fuse for your Mulch Mate truck charging harness.
All right, guys, keep in mind one other thing. There is a correct way to put this in. The power goes from here, up and out, or in this case of the fuse, up and back in again. So you want to put it in this way with the hot side on here. If you have it on this side, the hot would be on this side and it would not work. And the way you do that is when you pull the fuse out of the holder, you stick the probe down inside, make sure which side is hot and which side is not. And then this side, the left, is always going to be your hot side. So you want to put it in this way, not this way.
The more you know. All right, so the wires that come from the back of the truck all the way forward, here's where they come. So you've got one cable here that's coming from the back of the truck, and this cable here is actually coming around to this busman fuse here, which there's one inside here. You saw that earlier in the video. And then we give you a spare because fuses can break if things go sideways. That's what they're for, okay? Then it comes down here and it connects to your connection here to the battery on the driver's side. We actually add this bolt here, so we drill a hole and add this bolt in here and bolt that down. And here is your ground, okay? So that ground is just running all the way along here and in the back, and it just goes all the way back to where you see Gavin's feet. And of course, we talked about this, the actual contactor here, again, signal wire, ground wire. This comes from the battery. This goes to the actual Mulch Mate itself. It's very, very simple. All right, there you go. It's not that hard. It just goes all the way to the back. All right, so what we're doing now is we're running, this is the video cable, right? I just yanked it out of the truck. Sorry, Gavin. And what we did is we pulled all the trim off here. And on this particular truck, there's a little grommet right there. We ran it through, so you can see. Okay, we just cut a little slice in it, and an X actually. And then we pull this trim up, or off, excuse me. Pull this piece of trim off here. It's really not that difficult. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the wire over, up in here. We're gonna zip tie it up nice inside there. We're gonna go up through the actual headliner, and then down on the mirror right there, and that'll be good on go.
And this is where you would zip tie it with the harness going down this pillar right here. Your armpit, there you go, right there. So I gotta use zip ties.
All right, guys, so in closing, this is what the truck is gonna look like when it's all said and done inside. We've got the A-pillar is all put back together, all the way down. Sorry about the lighting, it's getting dark out. Okay, so all that's put back together, and these are the two wires that are gonna be left. You've got the video wire RCA, and then the red is the power and the black is the ground. It all comes into this little plug here. That gets put into this is your mirror, sorry. So this is your mirror. It's a clip-on style, so these little clamps here, okay, that's actually going to clamp on to your mirror like so, okay? And then your wires here, you've got your, that's your video, right? So that yellow goes there, and then the red, okay, plugs in there. Now, this red and black, that goes across your headliner like you just saw, down into here, and it's gonna go into your fuse box that's down, it's down inside. On this truck, it's down underneath the dash, and you're gonna find that switch 12-volt source, and you're gonna put that add a fuse in there, just like we showed you earlier in the video. It's the same thing, rinse and repeat. Use that power probe, and you're gonna find out which one is signal. And what's gonna happen is, as soon as you turn the truck on, the monitor is gonna pop on, and you're gonna be able to see the video signal coming out of the Mulch Mate, okay? Now, if that doesn't work, okay, troubleshooting tip of the day, the power for the camera on the Mulch Mate comes from the 1 o'clock position on the 7-pin. We see a lot of times that pin doesn't have power. Check your fuse and check your wiring. Make sure that pin has power, because that's what is powering the camera that's in the Mulch Mate itself. So, with this guy here, you're just gonna plug it in, yellow to yellow, red to the black right there, where my thumb is. Oh, it just fell. Again, these get plugged in like so. Red to the black, yellow to the yellow, and then just clip the mirror on, and then tuck all these wires like up under the headliner up here. I personally leave it sitting like this, and I keep this in my center console because I've got a really nice auto-dimming mirror here. And what I don't want is to cover that up, because it's got like sensors and different things in it. So when I do haul something with a Mulch Mate, like on this truck, I'll tow a DMT, and I'll throw this thing on real quick, I'll clip it on, and that way I have a nice view out the back of the Mulch Mate. So guys, with all that said, that is how you install your truck charging harness and your camera monitoring system. It is not that difficult. It just takes a bit of time to wrap your brain around what exactly is going on. So in closing, let me just show you one last time the routing of everything, and it's not that difficult. So you're going to mount that guy close to center in the back of the truck. You're going to run your wires through the chassis on the driver's side. Make sure that you are conscious of any kind of chafing or wire routing near heat, things like that. You want to make sure it's nice and safe for longevity. You're going to run it up through the frame, up the firewall here, up into the hood, and to your batteries, and make sure you have that solenoid, which is there, and the mega fuse, and run it to the battery. As far as the monitor with the camera and all that, it's going to come through a grommet under the floor in this truck. It's going to be different on all trucks, but get it through there nice and safely. Run the wires up. Sorry about the private jet. He's a little noisy. And you run it up the A-pillar, all the way underneath the headliner into the camera right there. So that's it, guys. It's very, very simple. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can advise you, take pictures, send it to us. We can help you out. We've installed nearly 1,000 of these things now. It's not that difficult. It is actually quite nice and simple. It's going to charge that Mulch Mate, and this is the same thing for a Truck Mate HD or a Truck Mate OG. It's the same system. So there you go, guys. Have an awesome day. Thanks for joining us. Hope this helps you, and we'll see you in the next video.